global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. Indeed, politics is a game of interest. No permanent enemies, no permanent friends, as in no permanent foes. It's just permanent interest. And they are beginning to show us generally that this whole issue of elections really is not because of the people. It's really their personal interest first before the common Nigeria, although usually they will fund the common Nigeria first. But in actual fact, it's them first before the common Nigerians. Even the likes of the Northern Elders Forum spokesperson have seen it all, and they have decided to tell Nigerians to do the needful. But let's find out what is going on in PDP. The conditions that Wike has given to Atiku Abubakar and the ones he has agreed, looks like the tables are turning. And let's see if eventually it is applicable. Even if eventually Atiku agrees to them, if it is applicable, if eventually Atiku wins the day, would he honor all these latest conditions, which looks quite a bit detrimental to him, judging the fact that from reliable sources, there seem to be an alliance already formed by Atiku Abubakar and Tambuwal during the PDP primaries. I guess it's the case of interest here. Well, before we go into the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, according to the news, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, is under immense pressure from his loyalists following report that he has yielded to the demand by Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike for the removal of the PDP national chairman, Ayu. It was gathered in Abuja as at Friday that a number of agreements were arrived at after face-to-face meeting between Atiku and Wike in London. Part of the agreement, it was learnt, was that Ayu should be given a dignified exit and accommodated in the new PDP government when it is formed. The Wike camp equally extracted a commitment from Atiku to be allowed to produce Ayu's replacement, and that the person should be from the southwest zone. It is, however, unclear if Atiku yielded to the demand by Wike's camp to serve for a single term to allow for power to shift to the south to assuage feeling of betrayal of southerners. The Wike's camp, which outnumbered the Atiku camp 2-1 at the London meeting, was also able to extract a commitment from the PDP candidate to produce Senate President and some principal officers of the National Assembly. Members of the Wike camp will also be appointed into yet-to-be-agreed key ministerial positions, as well as the headship of federal parastatals and agencies if they win the 2023 general elections. In return, the Wike camp agreed to play a pivotal role in marketing Atiku Okowa ticket and providing logistics for the general campaign. A source familiar with the development who confided to Vanguard said it was agreed that the media hostilities should cease, and this was largely responsible for the statement Atiku caused his media office to issue on Thursday. Atiku was left with little room to negotiate. He was outnumbered, and the open solicitation by the candidates of Labour Party and All Progressive Congress, Mr. Peter Obi and Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, did not help matters at all. This is getting interesting. A lot of Nigerians are talking. This person said, let's just take one or two comments here. This person here is saying, Wike is indeed a strong man, but nothing will ever make him work for Tinubu. Another person here saying, no matter what happens, I just want to see either PDP or APC win so I can witness the wailings of Obi supporters in 2023. I really can't wait for it. Another person here saying, Southwest got nothing to offer PDP. They are already obedient. Wow. Another person here said this is likely possible after His Excellency Atiku realized that Wike is more valuable than Senator Ayu. Ayu has been thrown under the bus. Expect him to fight back as he may likely switch to Asiwaju Tinubu's camp. Wow, a lot of things are going on at the background. Politics indeed is a game of interest. Okay, but let's look at this. It's let's assume it's agreed. Nigeria, our kind of politics is a very funny one, permanent one, a permanent interest really. Now, if he signs all this and he gets to win, it's just an agreement. Worst case scenario, he may decide to port from a PDP to APC. He has ported before. Atiku has ported before. He was in APC. He was in PDP, moved to APC. APC to PDP. So it doesn't take him anything to port, except, of course, if he ports and the governors and all the likes would decide to say, okay, they want to sue him. How would you even do that as a sitting president? He has a lot of immunity covering him, and a lot of loyalists will also follow around him as well. And don't forget that the weekend we are talking about here, at that point in time, after 2023 general election, he is not going to occupy any position, of course. He does not have a senatorial position to occupy. He does not have a governorship position to occupy. And possibly they may not even honor that agreement. Don't forget that during the primaries of PDP, there was this agreement they had, it was alleged that before Tambuwal was able to release and step down for Atiku, there was some sort of agreement. Some grapevine allegedly said that he was promised a senatorial seat, not just senatorial seat, a senate president. So possibly, since he didn't pick the form, he may have picked a senatorial seat form, and just for him to win and eventually probably declared a Senate president. So there are a lot of, when people were stepping down during the primaries, a lot of agreements were reached, and now all of a sudden, Wike is coming, Governor Wike is coming with his own agreement that may override. So the question now is, will Atiku honor those agreements eventually when he becomes the president? If he becomes the president, that's one. And do you honestly think that Atiku Abubakar would do only one term when he has the capacity to do 2 terms? If the whole push gets to a shove, he can decide to move from PDP to APC, where he may even get a ticket very quickly because he has what we call the power of incumbency. Some said it's not possible. Why not if not? The office of the president moving from one place to the other, the opposition becoming the ruling party, come on. Except, of course, if the party itself will fight it to the end. But fighting it to the end would also mean that you're going to go against the government of the day. It's a dicey one. And that's why when it comes to the issue of agreement and commitment, it should come from someone who has integrity. Don't forget also that Wike have gotten the first thing from Atiku when he said there was some agreement they reached immediately after the primaries that Atiku Abubakar refused to honor, one of which was that Ayu should step down. It took this dragging of this level for them to even pay attention. Even at that, Ayu have still not stepped down. They're still working on modality. So you now see agreement of some of this kind of sort